Hey everybody. First thing, I want to say great job. I really appreciated how some of you truly took this assignment seriously. You grappled with it, you thought about how you wanted to present your video, and you really put together something really nice, and I'm really happy about that. So thank you so much for that. If you want to see the grading rubric, how I'm going to score these, all of that is in course content under the demonstration speeches. I really do follow that when I'm going through the grades. The grades will be posted throughout this week in Blackboard, so keep an eye out in there. My commentary will be provided with your grade if you're interested to know what I thought of your video, which I'm sure some of you do. The final part of this assignment is the commentary. So I have made sure that comments are allowed on this presentation today, so all you need to do is to comment on 3 of your classmates' speeches. To do that, just put their name and then write your comment. So again, that's 3 different speeches you need to comment on. That is due by the end of this week. And then what you do is you go back into course content under module 3. It says, there's a little click on something that says providing feedback, and then you just submit the names of the 3 people that you provided comment to. And that just helps me to keep track of the work that you've done, even though I can go back in YouTube and I can see, but you know, it's a little easier for me, and I appreciate your doing that. So yes, please provide the commentary. And what you write about people, you should write something that you really liked, a strength of the speech, you know, your favorite part of it, maybe an area where you thought there could be a little bit of improvement, but you know, keep the comments constructive, and I would appreciate that. So thank you for doing that. That is due by October 18th for full credit. Anything after that would be for half credit on your participation grade. And I think I mentioned this earlier in the course, those participation grades, they can really add up. So if you think, oh, I don't really need to do this one, if you miss one, you get a 0, it's significant against that. So you really should take a minute to comment. And it's a nice thing to do as well. I also want to take a moment to just share a little note about late work. So what you're going to see in this presentation is that only about half of you submitted your assignments on time. You know, that's kind of the way that it goes sometimes. And I want to say to all of you who submitted on time or who reached out and, you know, let me know what was going on and I was able to give you an extension, you know, I appreciate that. What I have in the syllabus and what I do for late work is you have up to 2 days after assignment is due to reach out to me and let me know that you need an extension. I recognize that, you know, to do these assignments, there's a lot of technology you have to use. There's a lot of times where life can get in the way of submitting it, or technology gets in the way of submitting on time. So reach out to me, let me know what's going on, and we can always work something out. But if you don't reach out to me up to 2 days after the assignment's due, which is past at this point, so if you haven't reached out to me at this point, it's 10 points off for every day that it's late. And then after that, it's a 0. So, you know, I try and be fair, and I try to be fair for the people who work so hard to submit things on time. So again, if you're having issues, you know, definitely reach out. But you know, it's just, I try my best so that everyone can submit things. And if you don't submit a speech, it really can significantly impact your grade. So, you know, let me know what's going on. Also, you know, all throughout course content, I have the little calendar in there. I try and share updates. I try and put all the dates in there so that you guys can keep track of when these things are due. I had a few people reach out and say, oh, I thought it was this day, or I thought it was that day. All of it's on the calendar, all of the due dates. So follow that and you're going to be golden. Download that, print it out, staple to your wall. You're going to be good. So thank you to all of you who submitted. I enjoyed these speeches very, very much. And now presenting for the first time everywhere to all of you, your demonstration speeches.
Hi everyone, my name is Carly Chamberlain and today I'm going to show you how to write a song. So when you hear a hit song, have you ever wondered what the process was like to tie it all together? Have you ever wondered if there was a specific set of rules to follow? Writing a song combines using your creativity with a set of techniques that have been used for decades by artists like Freddie Mercury and Lady Gaga. Today, I will demonstrate how to write a song by breaking it down into just 6 steps. Whether you're a beginner or experienced, following a songwriting structure can help guide you to a finished product. And even though there is a generic structure, in songwriting, you have the freedom to change anything about a song to your liking. One of the greatest things about songwriting is that the rules are movable, bendable, and even breakable. All right, so let's start with step 1. Step 1 is the idea. So every song starts with a purpose or a muse. It could be a specific emotion, a story, a word that resonates with you. You can also pull inspiration from many different places. You can write a song in your own perspective, the perspective of a character from your favorite TV show or book, and even someone close to you that you know. The key is to identify what you want to express. For example, let's say you're writing about heartbreak. Choosing a specific topic will help guide your lyrics, tone, and melody. And step number 2 is choose a structure. So most songs follow a familiar structure to keep the listener engaged. The most common format is the verse, the chorus, the verse again, the chorus again, the bridge, and then the chorus one more time. If you take a modern song even and listen intentionally, you could find this structure in many different songs. You can also choose to make up your own as well. This just happens to be the most well-known one, so if you're a beginner, I recommend this structure. But before you decide what it is, it's important to understand what each part means. So let's start with the verse. The verse will be the story of your song. If you're doing 2 verses, which is pretty common, the first verse will be your introduction or your beginning, and the second will be a continuation of the story. If you were writing a paper, for example, this would be the body of your paper. Next, we have the chorus. So the chorus emphasizes the main message. What is the main point you're trying to make? What is your purpose of writing this song? After someone listens to it, what do you want them to remember the most? And then my personal favorite part of the structure, the bridge. The bridge usually has some type of contrast from the rest of the song. It can add a new perspective or be the turning point or climax of your story. I personally like to make the bridge the most emotional or gut-wrenching part of a song. So let's go to step 3, writing the lyrics. Once your idea is clear, start writing the lyrics. Try focusing on expressing your theme in each part of the song. So in the verse, set the scene and describe the situation. The more descriptive, the better. A great way to do this, and something that helps me when I'm writing a verse, is referencing to the 5 senses. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear? Things along the lines of that. And then next we go to the chorus, which is the where you're highlighting the emotional core of your message. This is usually the most memorable part. And then the bridge, offering a new angle or shift in the story. It can be climactic or a moment of clarity. And then we have step 4, create a melody. Now, experiment with different melodies to match the mood of your lyrics. You don't need to know advanced music theory. Hum or play around on an instrument until something finally clicks. For example, a sad song might have a slow minor key melody. Some artists also put happy melodies with sad songs to experiment with contrast. And then we will go to the chords. So step 5 and step 4 are interchangeable. Some people prefer to pick their chords and then build a melody, and then some people prefer to make the melody and match the chords. If you're a beginner, I usually recommend finding the chords first. That way you know what key you're in. Common chord progressions make a song feel cohesive. For instance, C, G, A minor, and F progression works well with many pop songs. Experiment with different combinations to see what works best for you. If you're at a stalemate or don't know what to do, there's also a bunch of online websites that just create random chord progressions. It's kind of like a generator. And then lastly, we have refine and edit. One of the most important rules that I have learned while songwriting is do not critique your song while you are in the creative process. This is the last step once your song is complete. Review your lyrics and ask yourself, is there anything that you could say better? Is there anything you can add detail to? Do you have too much detail? Does the song have a storyline? After polishing your lyrics, you can review your melody and chords. Also, during this step, you can show your music to somebody you trust or multiple people you trust to get their feedback. And lastly, to conclude, writing a song is both creative and it's a creative and structured process. The rules of songwriting can help guide you, but you can also follow them loosely, especially as you get more advanced. Whether you prefer creating the melody and progression of a song or telling a story through poetic lines, the key is to stay patient, continue to practice, and allow your creativity to flow without interruption. Remember, every song begins with an idea, and no one becomes a hit songwriter overnight. Songwriting is a great way to express your emotions and has helped billions of people, including myself, as a listener or a creator. My best advice to anyone who has the desire to create music is start writing, keep writing, break the rules, and most importantly, have fun. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mary Kate, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to properly introduce your bottle service table. Now, before I go into that, what is bottle service? Bottle service is a VIP experience that you pay for at a nightclub or beach club, depending on what area you're in. It means you're buying a section, you're buying bottles, you're going to be having a huge presentation with your bottle server. It's a whole celebratory experience. It does come with a hefty price tag. So why do people do bottle service? People do this, and it's not an everyday occurrence when you go out to the club. It's really just when you're having a huge celebration, whether it's your birthday, your bachelorette party, divorce, graduation, whatever the case may be. It's something special, so people are going to have a bigger group and fork up a little bit extra money to have this big parade of lights, confetti, personalized signs for the celebratory thing. Now, because of that, when you have a hefty price tag as a bottle server, you have important steps you need to follow to properly introduce your table and to get them on the road with having a strong connection and confidence and trust within you. For instance, before they even get to the venue, they've already researched 3 things. That is the entertainment, the ambiance, and the price point of the club. You have 7 seconds as a bottle server to not only establish those 3 things, but to make them better and stronger with the impression that you have. So 7 seconds, that is going to be all within your demeanor, your attitude, your tone of voice, the way you're standing, the way you're welcoming your table in. Because as soon as the host brings your table in, you're immediately going to kind of start talking to the head of the table, but you kind of also want to address the rest of the table since you're going to be serving them throughout the duration of the stay. So as soon as your host brings you to the table, you want to have a smiley face, just overall a welcoming vibe, if you will, because they are going to be trusting you throughout the day to make their drinks, to get them at their minimum. The minimum is the least amount of alcohol you can spend. So if they have a hefty minimum, they're kind of trusting you to make sure they're staying on track so they don't just get bombarded. So again, your body language, your appearance, your demeanor, your attire, those are all critical things in those first 7 seconds. And then from there, it's all within how you relay information, how you reiterate things, and how you're talking to them. So when John brings you your table, he's also going to bring you this chit. The chit is your Bible on how to get the table going. So as soon as John brings you the table, everyone's going to kind of get situated. You can say, hi, minute guys, welcome in, so excited to have you. Make sure you're making eye contact throughout the table, maintaining, kind of giving that aura of confidence, if you will. Your head of the table will most likely be next to you as he will be standing up because he knows he kind of has some things to review with you. So John, our host for the day, is bringing us our chit. Our chit has the name, the minimum, the table, the server, the date, the payment. The name is the card holder, so you're going to open this up, check that their card and ID matches immediately because it is a law in New Jersey that you cannot hold their ID, so you're going to give the ID right back to Bryce Harper and keep his card because you have to pre-authorize this minimum. So you're going to be looking at the minimum. Again, the minimum is the least amount of alcohol they can spend during their time. So again, while everyone's sitting down and kind of getting situated, you have a moment with Bryce Harper. Hey, Bryce, welcome in. Again, my name is Mary Kate. Reiterate your name as many times as you can so they're on a first name basis with you. Again, that trust. I'm so excited to have you. What are you celebrating? What brings you guys in today? Oh my gosh, it's Nick's bachelor party. Well, that's so awesome. When are you guys celebrating? Or when is the wedding? You can kind of ask these mini icebreaker questions before you want to get into the fine details. You want to make this experience less transactional and more celebratory since they are celebrating a huge deal. So Bryce Harper, I'm so excited to celebrate Nick's bachelor party. I can't wait to give you guys such a good time. Before we get the show on the road, I do kind of want to reiterate your minimum for tonight. It is $2,500. That means the least amount of money you can spend on liquor, food, drinks. Just want to let you know that does not include your tax and gratuity, though. I did see that you signed off the 20% gratuity, but I just want you to know the minimum does not include that. Awesome. So now he knows he's going to be spending more than $2,500. So when he gets his tab at the end of the night, it is not going to be more. It's not going to be less than $2,500. It's going to be significantly more with just the tax alone, and then with his 20% gratuity or whatever gratuity he wants to add in there. It's important to reiterate that, again, your gratuity is not included, or the tax, because that is how you're getting paid as a bottle server. So when you relay all these information, all these details, it's going to make them feel safe and secure, that you're just not going to be running up the tab or why those charges, they didn't foresee that coming. You're creating the least amount of confusion. So whenever it's time to give them the tab, they have a clean, thorough, they're already prepared, even with the alcohol intake they're going to have. You don't want to have all these details when they're intoxicated. So you're making them feel safe and secure. Kind of reiterate this again a couple times. The better they trust you, the better the tip, and the better review. They have a hefty price tag. $2,500 is kind of a good amount to spend on a table. So you want to make sure that they feel safe and secure with you. They're confident. A proper introduction, it's just going to make the flow of things that much better. The better your flow of prompts, the better the flow of your confidence. It goes hand in hand. So that's why it's so important to have such a strong, proper introduction to greeting your bottle service table, because the minimum is hefty and you have a big job to uphold as a bottle server for your venue. So that is how to properly introduce your bottle service table. Eye contact, your appearance, your body language, your demeanor, and reiterating the chit or the Bible, if you will. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Have an awesome day.
Hello. Today here I am going to be demonstrating on how to put together a very scrumptious and great turkey and cheese sandwich. I have all my ingredients laid out here. We're going to start with the bread here. I like honey wheat bread, so that's the first thing that we have here. I'm going to be taking the bread and putting it on the plate first. Here's my 2 slices of bread here. The second item on my list here will be the mayo. It's my mayo here. I'm just gonna start by spreading my mayo on both sides of the bread here. Give it a nice layer of mayo. This is also olive mayo, by the way. This one. And here's the other slice of bread, the mayo. I like a good layer of mayo, so I am being very generous with the mayo. Okay. So after the mayo, I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid back on this here. And I'm gonna start with the cheese. This is just sliced Velveeta cheese. This is the best cheese in my opinion. I love some American sliced Velveeta cheese. I'm just gonna place that on one slice of the bread only. Next is spinach. I love my sandwiches with spinach. So we're gonna put a good spread of spinach as well on the bread. Oops, one fell. Next is the turkey. I have Hillshire turkey here. And I'm gonna place this actually on the other side of the bread here. Be very generous with this as well. Okay, so next we're gonna put both breads together. And then I'm gonna slice it in half. I like my bread, my sandwiches in half. So I'm just gonna place both in half here. And there you go. We have 2 slices here. Next, I am also gonna slice an apple as well to have a little snack on the side with my sandwich. You have to be very careful with this knife here. Very careful. So I like to cut my apples in half, and then once I cut it in half, I cut it into another half. Like so. And then I just take the middle out as well. So we have a sandwich and an apple on the side. Sandwich, which is a turkey and cheese with spinach in the middle. And then I also have 3 apples on the side. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Casey, and I'm going to be showing how to do 2 French braids. So first you have to make sure all the hair is brushed. You need a brush, a comb, and 2 elastic hair ties. I'm making sure the part is somewhat centered. And then I'm making sure there's no knots in the hair. And then I'm going to get the section of hair to start with. Make sure there's not knots in it. Divide it into 3 equal sections. Cross the left over the middle, the right over the middle, and then that's where you can start adding hair. So I'm adding hair into the middle piece. Crossing it over, and then I'm adding hair into the left piece and crossing it over the middle piece and adding hair into the right piece, crossing it over the middle, adding hair to the left piece, crossing it over the middle. And you just repeat that as far down as you want to go. I'm not going to go down her whole head for the sake of time. I'm going to take my elastic and tie off the side. So that's one side done. You can pull it to make it look tighter and nicer. And then for the left side, I'm just going to do the same thing. Get the triangle piece. Make sure there's no knots. Divide it into 3 equal parts. Take the left piece over the middle, the right piece over the middle. And start adding hair. Adding hair to the right piece and crossing it over to the middle. Adding hair to the left piece and crossing it over the middle. And just repeating that process as far down as I'm gonna go. Then I'm gonna get my elastic and gather the rest of the hair and put it around the little pigtail we have. So now she has 2 French braid at the top and some little pigtails that are not braided at the end. And that's how you
Hi, my name is Amanda, and today we'll be doing a demonstration speech on how to pot a water propagation. So, the reasoning you want to pot your water propagation into soil is because you want the roots to have more room to grow. You want it to be able to build a foundation to have stronger and healthy roots, and you also want it to be fully established and reach its full potential as a regular houseplant. So when it comes to deciding if it's time to repot a typical houseplant, you usually have roots protruding from the top, as so, or from the bottom of the pot. In this situation, we are talking about a water propagation from cuttings. A cutting is a section of the plant that you chop up into pieces like this one here. It can have leaves coming from it, or it could just be the stem part. But you need to be mindful when you are cutting that you don't cut this little part called the node. The node is where the new roots, when you water propagate, will come from, right here. This is, again, a cutting from a plant. Today we're talking about a pothos right here. You need to be mindful, once again, do not cut the node. So water propagations. A propagation is a reproduction of animals or plants, and today we're talking about a pothos plant. Is it time to pot your water propagation? You need to be mindful. According to Stouffer's online, your roots need to be at least 2 to 3 inches long. You want the roots to be able to survive and be nice and healthy and strong and to be able to adapt to its new environment. You need to gather all necessary tools. A flat surface is preferable, like this one here, a table. You need to have a pot, preferably with a drainage hole. According to Amanda Garbins, if you do not have a drainage hole in one of the pots that you really, really like, you can use a power drill and create your own. You need something to scoop your substrate. Today, I'm just going to be using a regular plastic potting cup that we have here. You want to make sure that your pot is at least 2 to 3 inches bigger than your root system, so the roots have room to grow. You can either purchase or make your own substrate. Today, we made our own substrate. We used orchid bark, perlite, and non-fertilized potting soil. Non-fertilized potting soil is very important because you are not ready to fertilize your plant yet. You want to make sure that your mixture is nice and chunky. The reason you want to make sure your mixture is nice, your substrate is nice and chunky, because once you pot your water propagation, if you decide to water from the top, you want it to be able to drain the excess water. And also, you want to make sure there's proper aeration for your plant so it can breathe and have nice, healthy, strong roots. So, potting our water propagation, you want to take some of your substrate and place it at the bottom of the pot. All roots take different times to grow, different lengths. As you can see here, ours is very elongated. It's been sitting in my water propagation for some time, and I think it's time to put it in its new home. Now, before you do that, you want to make sure that you clean your plant, which I already did. Make sure it's free of dust, debris, and that there's not any rocks or sediment still attached to the roots. So we have our roots that are, of course, more than 2 to 3 inches long. We placed our substrate at the bottom. Now we're going to make sure that we spread our roots nice and evenly at the bottom. And the reason you're doing this, because you just want to make sure, again, that your roots have proper room to grow. Then you're going to take some more substrate and you're going to fill it until you have at least maybe a ½ inch to the top of your new pot. Now you want to make sure that you're holding your leaves in place, and then you can always try to rearrange them. Don't pack the soil or your substrate in, but just make sure you have a little bit of play, because if you don't like how your plant is arranged, you can always fix it later. So we're adding the substrate in, making sure it's all the way around. Again, you want to have it at least a ½ inch from the top. I do have a planting spatula that I can use as well to make sure that my substrate is nice and even and where I want it to be. Now, here's our plant. You could clean it up a little bit. We have the new pots. We went from a water propagation of a pothos and to a potted house plant of a pothos. For maintenance with this plant, you want to make sure you keep it in bright, indirect sunlight because you do not want to burn the leaves. You have to remember that this plant is still adapting to its new environment. So you got to give it time to get used to its new home and everything, because you're losing the humidity it had, the moisture and the airflow from here, from the top. And that's why we have the chunky mixture, so it still has the airflow. Some people, to create the moisture and the humidity, they put it in a terrarium, or some even just put a plastic bag around it. But we like it as is, and we're going to keep it just the way it is and give it time to adapt. We're not going to fertilize for 2 to 3 weeks because you want it to, again, adapt to its new environment, and you don't want to cause root burn. So again, you need to make sure you have a pot with a drainage hole, some chunky substrate, and you put your plant, once you're done potting it, into indirect, bright sunlight. And then your plant is ready to thrive and be fully established. Thank you for watching. Have a great one.
Hi, I'm Ian Palzer. I'm a video editing major, so when I found out we were making videos in this class, editing them came naturally to me. I really enjoy fixing errors in videos I've made, adding stuff into them to make my point more clear, and especially adding entertainment to them. But stuff like this isn't limited to just me. Anybody can do basic editing, and for this class especially, basic editing can go very far. In this video, I hope to illustrate that and teach you how to do some basic editing, as I show you how I edited this very video. Step 1 is how to improve a good speech. Fixing a video is quite simple and can lead to the best results for your speech. It involves just cutting out the parts of the video that you don't want, such as bad takes, or more usually, gaps in speaking, or unnecessary ums and ahs. You could see here, I'm taking the footage, finding the parts that are the most silent and the most boring to watch, selecting the parts of them and then cutting it out. I can then rearrange the video pieces to be back together and to make one consistent video. Editing. Very notably, you can't use editing to turn a bad speech into a good speech. A bad speech will always be a bad speech. Editing just helps to turn a good speech into an even better speech. If you already have a bad take from the start, no amount of editing is going to make it actually good. See here. I'm a video editing major. I'm a video editing major. I edit videos. I'm a video editing major. I edit videos. Even after cutting it up and putting it together, removing all the bad parts, the tone just doesn't match and my words don't sound correct put together. It's not one coherent speech, even after I did all this rearranging. When you know you're editing a video like this, it's important to record your takes with this in mind. While recording these takes, I'm doing multiple tries of something, and even when I feel like I've gotten something right, I retry it in a different style or say something different. Or I try and say a longer piece of the speech together so I don't have to chop it up later, and it won't appear all choppy. Step 2 is how to add visual aid. Visual aid, as you know, is a visual that helps viewers understand the point we're trying to make. In video form, visual aid can go even further in helping us. My first visual aid is the video in the background. Sometimes it's just B-roll, giving a general idea of what I'm talking about, and sometimes it's a specific example of what I'm talking about. I do this with layering, where I take one layer, myself, and put it over another layer, the video in the background. Another good visual aid is text. Putting text on screen helps boil down what I'm saying into easily understandable phrases, but more can be done with it using time. I used this earlier, where I made text appear as I was saying it. This helps emphasize the important parts of my speech as I say them. Using video allows us to show visuals over time. This aspect of time can make an aid more helpful. Step 3 is how to entertain with editing. While entertaining an audience might not seem like the top priority in a persuasive speech, I think it's the most effective way to get a viewer's attention and make them want to keep watching. In the last part, I removed my green screen. This didn't serve any practical function, but it did look cool. I did this by using the effects menu, which gives access to many interesting tools for doing cool stuff. Another good tool for cool stuff is the transform menu, which lets me change position, sizing, and other basic properties. Making a video entertaining is a very beneficial thing to do. If a viewer isn't interested in my topic, they're at least getting some kind of value out of watching. If they are interested, the entertainment is an extra bonus on top to keep them engaged. But doing any kind of editing is inherently entertaining. Switching between takes keeps the energy high, having something moving in the background gives the viewer something to look at, and doing something intentionally entertaining is entertaining. So, why edit a video? Well, it's good for fixing, adding, and improving a speech. This class offers a great opportunity to try editing, and even a little can go a long way. As a side note, I used Adobe Premiere Pro for this video, but I recommend using something like Lightworks or iMovie as a free, beginner-friendly alternative. I wish you luck with your own edits.
Alright, hello everybody. So today we're going to be making brownies. This is a family recipe. And so to start with the recipe, we're going to preheat the oven to 350. Alright. And then you want to grab a 9x9 dish. Another size, you could use a 9x13, but if you use a 8x8, it'll make the brownies more moist and fluffier. Alright, so you want to spray this with cooking spray on the edges too. And then also in your pan, you want to gather all your ingredients and start putting them into the bowl. So we're going to start with the 100% cocoa Dutch processed cocoa powder. And we're going to do a cup of that. Alright. Cup of that. And then we're going to do a teaspoon of special dark cocoa powder. Just to bring out that chocolate taste in the brownies. Alright, after we do that, then we're going to come over here to this pot and we're going to melt some butter and the chopped chocolate together. Instead of chocolate chips, we're gonna use chopped chocolate because it melts better and it tastes better. All right. So you can put a whole cup of butter in. Okay. Oops. All right, whole cup of butter. Because 1 stick of butter is half a cup, so you need 2. All right. It's already a little melted from sitting out here. All right. So after you put the 1 cup of butter in, then you want to put in the chopped chocolate. All right. Are you getting it in there? All right. And then after that, you want to start the thing. You want to put it on like 6. Start the burner. And you want to wait for the butter and chocolate to melt. And once the chocolate and butter melts, then you're going to want to put it into the prepared bowl of what you already mixed, which is the cocoa powder and Hershey cocoa powder, 2 different cocoa powders. Right, so now once the chocolate is completely melted, you want to take it off the heat so it doesn't burn, and then you want to pour it directly into your prepared bowl, right? And then after that, you want to stir this mixture till it's smooth, and then let it cool down, and then you can start up another bowl that's going to include your sugars and your eggs, all right? But you also want to make sure you stir it until there's no more clumps in it. After your mixture is nice and smooth and it looks like this, you want to go and you want to start your second bowl, and this bowl is going to start with your sugars and your 4 eggs. So you're going to start with 1.5 cups of white sugar. Put a 1.5 cup of sugar in it. And then also you're going to do a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. 1/2 cup of brown sugar, it don't matter if it's light or dark. All right, dump that in there. And then you're also going to do 4 eggs. So, then you want to wash your hands because you don't want salmonella. So after you've got all your ingredients in there, your sugars and your 4 eggs, you want to come over here and you want to use the hand mixer on it. And you want to use the beaters, you don't want to use whisks. You want to do this about 8 to 10 minutes if you want them to be a little taller and more fluffy as well. But we're going to do them for about 4 to 5 minutes because I like my brownies to be smooth and moist. And they'll also be lighter in color if you do them for less time. So this is going to be about 4 to 5 minutes. After you mix everything, then you want to pour this chocolate mixture into the other bowl with your sugars and your eggs. So after you mix the chocolate and the sugars together, then you want to add a tablespoon of vanilla. And then you want to stir it up, mix it up, and it don't have to be mixed up perfectly because you're still about to mix more ingredients inside. And then after that, that's when you want to add the flour and the kosher salt. So you're going to do 1 cup of flour and then a teaspoon of kosher salt. You showed it? Alright, and a teaspoon of kosher salt. So you want to fold in the flour and the kosher salt, so it's going to look like this when you're folding it. To fold the ingredients in, you don't want to use the hand mixer anymore, is because with the flour it could start turning to dough and it just keep getting thicker, so that's why you want to fold it. Alright, so once you finish folding it, the brownie batter should be very thick, and if you want you could add additional chocolate if you want the brownies to be a little more chocolatey, or right, that's a word. So next up, what you want to do is you want to put it into your 8x8 pan, and then you want to bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. If you want them to be thicker, the brownies to be extra thick, then cook it for a little bit longer and use the 8x8 pan instead of the 9x13, which I had mentioned earlier. Alright, so after you spread it out evenly, you want to put it in your oven for, sorry, I had to. You want to put it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes, and yeah, and then we'll come back and we'll present it and make it look pretty. It's been 30 minutes now, and it's good to come out, and you know it's ready when it's not jiggling when you shake it, and it's very stiff, it's not shaking. So after that, you want to let it cool for probably a good, like, it's still cooking as it sits out here, so you want to let it chill for probably a good like 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. So after letting the brownies cool for a little bit, we put them in the fridge for a minute. They're ready to eat. You could cut it up, as you can see here. I cut them up already, and we already ate some. Then you could plate it up and eat some yourself, and also put ice cream on the side if that's what you like. And then, yeah, good.
I'm Corey Robertson, and this is my demonstration speech about how to give yourself and others a tarot reading for beginners. Once you understand the basic setups that you can use, and when you decide whether you want to use the resource provided by the guidebook, or if you decide to follow your own intuition about what the cards mean, you can give yourself and others tarot readings. I hope to encourage others to explore and learn about the interesting concept of tarot and understand how to tap into their intuition and the messages from the universe should they so choose, especially in honor of my grandmother who taught me all of this and just passed away. When I was growing up, my grandmother and I would read tarot together a lot, and she taught me to read when I was 7 with this deck. I still have it. She showed me how to read intuitively, which is what I will show you to do today. There are many myths surrounding tarot and ways to believe in tarot. I will be showing you the different things people may believe in as well as what I believe and how that can fit into your readings. I will first break down the different myths surrounding tarot, followed by 2 basic beginner spreads, which I will perform one of. The first myth of tarot is that you must be gifted your first deck. You only have to follow this rule if you want to. Tarot is an inherently personal activity. You can follow the rules you wish, and others can follow their own. In Vogue magazine, Howe says, I've heard people say you're not supposed to buy your own deck. You're supposed to have someone gift it to you. But what if no one buys you a deck? Then you never get to learn how to read. My feeling is, I bought my deck and I can read. Another myth is each card only has one specific way to be interpreted. Cards often have multiple different meanings, and if you're using your intuition to read, what you feel might not necessarily be a meaning originally associated with the card. Go with your gut. In Vogue magazine, Deanne says, each of the 78 cards has a unique image with a specific message, and together they tell the story of you. If you ask me what the Six of Wands looks like, I couldn't tell you. I've done tens of thousands of readings over the past 3 decades, but if you show me that card, I'll talk about it for hours. Don't worry about memorizing each card. Focus on learning the story it's telling you. The major and minor arcana usually just have general ideas associated with them. In the minor arcana, wands are usually work or effort related, while cups are related to emotional experiences, swords are struggles, battles, or strife within your life, and pentacles are related to physical and immaterial wealth. Now, a beginner spread would be, before you start, focus on one card at a time. Each card is the response to individual question that you are asking. So with the 3-card spread, we'll do past, present, and future. You can either pull cards by flying out, or you can just pull them the way that I'm pulling right now, intuitively. So, the first card I pulled was the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana card, and it generally symbolizes something is changing within your fortune. And it's a matter of you to pick where that's going to go. Your decisions are going to lead where. So that, in the past, you had a whole Wheel of Fortune. You had multiple different ways that you could go with your life. Now, moving on to present. Present, we have death. Death means a change. Death is essentially one door has closed and another door has opened. I did just experience a death. It doesn't necessarily mean a death, though. It just means a change. A death of a past life to a new one. Now, the final card for the future that I pulled is the 3 of Staves. Staves would be like wands, so this is dealing with work or effort related things. So in the future, there's new ships coming in on the harbor. So there's new things to be pulled in, new ideas coming. Now, I have 3 staves. That means I'm dealing with 3 strong decisions to make in a work-related field. Now, obviously, when you're doing this, you're going to get more in detail than I am right now. So, follow the way that the words are taking you. Some of the other 3-card spreads that you could do are what you know, what you feel, what you should do, or problem, solution, outcome. This is according to the Today Show. Now, according to WikiHow, there are 2 different 5-card spreads that you could also do. The life purpose spread, which is how am I really doing? What am I amazing at? What is my purpose? What is getting in my way? And how can I love myself so I have the energy to fulfill my purpose? Or you have the soul purpose. The soul purpose is what's a way to describe my soul's energy? What's my higher purpose? What special gift do I bring to this world? How can I put this gift to use? And what will I attain once I'm aligned with my soul's purpose? These are just some general questions that you can ask, and remember, each card matches one question. In conclusion, don't follow necessarily what everyone else says about tarot. Tarot is about following your gut. Tarot is all about focusing on your connection to the cards, so by connecting to each individual card as an answer to your question, you'll never have a wrong answer. Tarot is just a tool to use to clear your mind about what is happening within your place in the universe. I hope this was very enlightening and that you all go out and enjoy some tarot cards. Thank you.